In this tutorial, we're going to create your own logo and learn how to maybe do a little bit of font downloading, adding some text, and then doing some curves on some gradients. So the first thing we should probably do is just jump into this website called Thefontcom. If you just click on it or you just type that in, I've got it on my website. I'm going to go ahead and just click on it real quick. And there's other websites that you can go to, and basically what you need to do is just go download maybe 3 to 5 fonts. So I'm just going to click download, and then once you download it, depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC, I'm on a Mac, so I would save it first, and then typically you need to go find where it's at. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on where it's at, and then usually it's a zipped file, so I'm just going to double click on that zip file. Once I double click on that, sometimes it gives just the file. I'm looking for a TTF or an OTF. So there's my TTF inside that folder. So I'm just going to double click on that, and that will let me open it up, and I'll just click install font. So it should run it through. Every once in a while there's an error, and you just have to check on that and run it through. But the goal is to just get that downloaded, and then that should work on your computer on any program except for a Google Drive, but Photoshop, Illustrator, anything on that computer. So once you have that, then it's time to jump into Illustrator, and I just create a new document. And basically for this assignment, you're going to just create some logo. So if you want to just start off with just basic shapes and just kind of play with that, maybe you want to come in and use the pen tool. Maybe I want to create like some simple mountains or something. So it's kind of up to you what your logo is going to look like and how you want it to look. I'm just going to jump into this and maybe go to a corner, rotate it, and duplicate it. And then I'm going to select it and just give it kind of a color. And then I'm going to draw a line through it. So there's many different logos. You don't have to do anything too complicated. I selected them all. I'm going to use this tool called the Shape Builder tool. And if I double click, I'm going to just grab kind of a dark color and just kind of fill that in. And then up here, I'm going to merge that. So if I click and drag, I want that to be white again. So let me get that back to white and fill that back in. Hold down Alt to kind of delete parts. So I've kind of got my simple logo here that I'm going to go for. Could be something like this. You're welcome to use shapes. Maybe I want to throw in a shape behind it. Right mouse click, arrange. So you can also just create something from a drawing and then just scan it in. The point is you're just going to make some sort of a simple logo. Once you have that done, then comes the time to take your font and basically apply that. So I'm going to go to the text tool now, and I'm just going to single click. Don't click and drag, because if you click and drag, that creates a text box. And then you just type in your logo name here, or your business name. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm also working in Essentials. Make sure, or Classic, don't do Essentials. You have less tools to work with. But now I can come over here and just kind of click on my fonts, and then I can start to look for fonts you downloaded, or you may have some fonts that are already on your computer that you can use too. So resize and play with that. I'm going to go ahead and just click back on it and just actually give it a name now. And then it's just kind of time to play with it. Maybe we'll add a color to that. Once you get one built, I think I want a stroke on that. Then the easiest thing to do is just to duplicate it and just recreate. So I'm going to select that now, and then hold down the Alt key, and that'll let me duplicate it. So maybe you're just kind of playing with where text goes. Maybe that's more down the middle. Duplicate again. Maybe I want to play with a different font. So I'll come over here and just see what it looks like. And that's really kind of what you're trying to do, is see what you can build. with what you've created and everything. So maybe I'll duplicate this and oh, and I should have gotten the other one because that one has a notch out of it. Let me get rid of that. So duplicate, and then I'm going to delete this part and just see what it looks like. Maybe I'll kind of do like a little baseball type of looking logo where I just have the letters of my logo. I'm going to play with a different font again. And then just duplicate that, press S. So there's all kinds of things you can do. I also want to show you how to do some things with the font and maybe curve. Add some curve appeal to it. If I can get this. It doesn't want me to click and drag it. So if I want to put some text on an arc or something, then I'll do that. So maybe I'll grab this, or maybe I'll just do it on here. So if I want to put text on an arc, if you click and hold on the text tool and go down to this right here, that'll let you type on a path. The problem is if I just click on something, it's going to make that object disappear. So Command Z to undo that. So if I want to do that, usually I'll duplicate and then I'll go in and grab that tool, and then you can start typing out what you want your text to say. And that's really small, so I better resize that by coming over here and playing with that a little bit. And that can be done with a curve. You can draw your own curve with the text tool or the pen tool, and then grab that again and just click and just type out whatever you want. So that's kind of a fun object and a cool way to create some logos, is just putting things on a curve and everything. So the other thing you could do is, I just held down Alt to duplicate that. Maybe you want to play a little bit with different colors, variations. So if you right mouse click on a graphic, you can go to Create Outlines, and that just converted it so it's no longer text and I can't fix spelling or play with the font. But now I can go in and just click off of it. I could come into individual letters and change those up if I wanted to. Or you could just move them around. And I'm on this direct select. If I'm on the regular select, it won't do that. It selects the whole thing. So that's why the direct select is used to modify and do other things. I could also draw a line down the middle of it. Maybe I want to play with making the top part of it one color and the bottom another. So I'm going to select that whole thing, jump back into the shape builder tool, and grab just maybe a different color, and I'm just going to grab black and just kind of click. Oh, and that was white, so grab the color I want. So you can kind of click and change up things, and then if I don't want that line in there at the end, hold down the Alt key and you can delete parts. Alt to zoom in and use your scroller wheel. So now I'm just kind of playing with this and just seeing what I can build on this. So, and there's other things I can do too, but that's kind of a fun little item to do, just to create some different looks. So many other ways to create some logos, but hopefully you find something in there useful. So to put in a gradient, basically you just got to select on an object and come over here, and you can change it from solid to gradient. So that's one way to do it. You could also just come over to this and choose the gradient that you want, or you could also go up to Window, pull up your gradient that way. So once you get in a gradient, to change it up so you got different colors, you basically just need to double click on one of these. And at first it pulls up just grayscale. So to fix that, you've got to come in and click on this little pull down and do RGB. And then from there you can do whatever color you want to do. So once you get that all laid out, you could also play with the orientation. So you can make it angled. You could also come over and there's a tool. If you click on the gradient tool, and you can actually click and drag. to stretch it out if you wanted to. And you can even go and double click on those and actually change out your gradient there too. So it's some different options you have with that gradient. If I wanted to apply that gradient on something like text, it's not going to go onto it if I just click on text. It doesn't really work. You'd have to convert outlines first. So if I right mouse click and then go to create outlines, it's now an actual shape. Go ahead and click on it, and that'll put the gradient. The big problem with that is you'll see that it's basically just doing it on each letter, and if one letter is like bigger than the other, then it's going to affect that differently. So it can be a little bit challenging. I mean, you can try and play with it. Maybe also come in over here to the gradient tool and just try and manipulate it on each one, and that's probably the best way to get it to work the way you want it to go. And I'm holding down Shift if I want to constrain, if I want to keep it straight up and down and everything. So, but that's the gradient tool.